figured that's a good way to intro the podcast. First time back in 6 months is with an Ombu Bell from Inside Timer. It's been quite a journey over the past 6 months as I have navigated the waters of the most turbulent time of my life. And in that turbulent time, there was a guiding force with me the entire way. From the moment the turbulent times began to sitting here in this podcast studio right here. And the name of that guiding force, or one of the guiding forces, is Nick Sweeney. And I underwent a breakup / a breakthrough / a metamorphosis starting in early May. And my friend Nick Sweeney immediately came to action and came to bat for me in a way that just left me in awe and so inspired. My stuff was in my ex-girlfriend's place and I wasn't available to pick it up. He said, no problem, I'll pick it up. I'll throw the stuff in my car. I'll leave it there for months on end. No problem, all good. I needed a bed to sleep in when I moved. And said, oh, I got a bed, spare bed you could sleep on. The bed that I'm sleeping on to this day and have been sleeping on for the past 4 months. Hosted my first retreat back from after canceling retreat. Host my first one back. Who was there? Nick Sweeney. Nick Sweeney is now all of a sudden co-facilitating this retreat with me because of his expertise on breathwork and sexual energy and his ability to transmute all of the knowledge and information that he has in his mind to people, and people are drawn to his energy. And I've had many guides along this journey of this breakup, but if I was to give one grounding force throughout it all to know that it would be okay, it was Nick Sweeney. And I am so honored and grateful to have the one, the only Nick Sweeney in front of me today.
Thank you. And thank you for having me on. And it was not a conscious decision to give you a bed. It wasn't a conscious decision it was just a natural thing to do when you're like, I have all my stuff in my ex-girlfriend's place. I'm like, well, I wouldn't want to go to my ex-girlfriend's place and pick it up myself. So easy decision. An easy decision to be on this podcast, an easy decision to step up and go to your retreat. And then there wasn't really a decision when I showed up at the retreat, to just happened. And actually something I was decisively making sure I wasn't doing. It's like, I'm not wanting to be, this is Danny's thing. And just because I'm a coach doesn't mean that this is my thing. I'm not going to be a coach. I'm just going to be a support. I'm not going to preach. So that didn't work out.
Life made you preach because your purpose is in preaching. And it's not actually preaching. It's more just you sharing your wisdom and information and knowledge. And it was incredible to witness. And that's why this partnership and friendship has been so organic. It's just sprouted up, and it's been so clear and evident. And as we've, after the retreat was over, we said, oh, we should think about hosting a retreat together. And I was like, yes, that sounds amazing. And then it was like, oh, we should do business together in some capacity before the retreat and figure out a way to help people. And then we should end it with a retreat. And as it's become more and more clear, we both have been like, yes, I'm getting better. You're getting better. You're becoming a more embodied version of you. I'm becoming a more embodied version of me. And so much is happening behind the scenes right now, and has happened behind the scenes for the past 6 months in my own life and your life, I'm sure. And now this is what you're seeing here today is the evolution of a friendship over a year, right? And so, I could have introduced you by saying, you're a breathwork coach, you coach professional athletes, you made this amount of money, you've done this. I view you first and foremost as a friend and as somebody who will deeply go to bat for another person that they want to be with and want to be inspired by, want to be connected to. And the same is true for me to you, even though I haven't been able to show it in that capacity. But just the amount of appreciation I had for you for that, it can't really be understated. And, everything we do, everything we're going to be building starts with that foundation for me. Like, I'm good. I'm good with Nick because I know at the deepest level he has my back. And I think that's a great place for people to just think about, is like with partnership, with friendship, with connections. Like, do you know that in your darkest hour, this person's got your back? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crucial. And it's hilarious that you're walking right in front of my apartment and you're like, I need a bed.
Literally just as I finished.
that was hilarious. How in your face that was. And how easy it was. Oh yeah, I'll just put it in my truck and done deal. Like, I had no idea you needed a bed, bro.
But God did. And that's how we've lived our lives. Both of us is like, okay, we are being taken care of. And the more you see that, the more you see evidence for that, the more you're in awe. I mean, literally the reason where I sleep at night is because of you. Like, is because of that divine appointment.
The grounding force.
The grounding force for myself. I mean, there's so much truth to that. And so I hope what comes through, at least in this beginning part, is just the gratitude, the admiration for you as a human being, the love I have for you. Just really, I am in awe of the person that you are. And like you said, it's not a choice I'm making. It's a choice that's being made for me that is so obvious, so that when someone thanks me for being me, you're like, I couldn't do anything else. And still, there was part of you that created it, right? Part of you created the person who is capable of doing the right thing in that moment. Part of you prepared so that you did the appropriate actions so that you could be healthy, so that you could be open to the miracles of life.
Yeah, I think that what we do behind closed doors is what then you're seeing it now on a podcast, but everyone has a choice when they're behind closed doors, and it's what you do alone and when no one else is holding you responsible for the things that you should or should not be doing. And that compounds on itself. So a year ago, I was in a different place. I was in a completely different place than I am now. And yeah, I have so much gratitude. And I mean, I love you, brother. And I had no friends in Austin for about a year other than my brother. We lived together.
Shout out, Jack.
Shout out. But it was just showing up at your run club. I started meeting all these people. I was like, wow, whoa. And then just kept going to the run club / meeting people, having conversations with people. It's like you grounded me in Austin, actually, because I was kind of like satellite apartment. I don't know if I feel this. Like, I'm kind of in a weird job and whatever, and I might bail. And then the people you attracted, that was like, whoa, there's something really cool happening here in Austin. And so it's really interesting how that completely sort of boomeranged a year-ish later, where then I'm grounding you, but you grounded me in Austin.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's amazing.
It's so beautiful that you give something and you get it back. Well, let's break that down for people, because people who aren't living in Austin, or people who just, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean something special is going, like, what do you actually think that is when people are gravitated towards this run club or feeling the energy of, like, what is that? Break it down for people, or for yourself.
I mean, I'll break it down for Austin perhaps, but you've got New York is money. You got DC, power. You got LA, status. Austin, you could say a lot of things. You could say health. You could say conscious capitalism. You could say free thinking. You could say first principles. You could say free will. You could say God. You could say, it just feels like Athens. I don't know. And it's a place, it feels like you're living in the future here. There's a completely different energy. There's a melting pot of people. You got red and blue. You got all walks of life, but everyone's so nice.
Yes.
Everyone's so kind and open, and there's such an emphasis on health. And I think that as a derivative is sort of this awakening point for people. It's like, oh, wait, the food I'm eating is not healthy. That thing isn't healthy for me either. Oh, what? Oh, okay. I have to go from first principles. I have to start making my own decisions and realizing that no one's coming to save me, and that how do I make my nervous system feel safe so that I'm not in fear anymore, so that I can live in faith. And I think that's what a lot of people in Austin have either figured out or are in the process of figuring out. So it's a beautiful place, and it just is a magnetizing force. You see people like, I remember I was like, who is this Danny guy? And then I saw you like hugging some guy, laughing at the run club. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, I had no idea what, I was like, he seems like ball energy, dope. That was like kind of the thought.
Is it like judgment? Is it like, what is this? Like, what is the...
No, it wasn't judgment. It was just, I was like, well, it's early in the morning, and he's expressing himself in a very like high energy way. I was like, that's cool. That's cool. I'm not there this morning. I was like, oh, all right, let's get this running going. I got to wake up. So there wasn't judgment, but it was an immediate recognition of like, oh, this guy has a lot of power. This guy has a lot of, you feel that energy. And I think that I love bridging science and spirituality, because you recognize that, oh, you actually do have a real electromagnetic field that you are feeling on a subconscious level. So I'm just feeling your field on a subconscious level. It's ineffable. Can't name it. Can't name your essence. Can't name your aura. Can't name your field. Your biofield is the technical term. But I can feel it.
Yes.
I can resonate with it. My nervous system will reverberate with it. And that is, we're either going to reverberate or we're not. We're either going to vibe or we're not. So vibrations, I would like vibration to no longer be this esoteric, like niche term, because it's very real. On a quantum physics level, classical physicists recognize that all these particles are vibrating. So it's then the resonance of those particles.
And this is, I think, something so important, that we can feel people. We can feel what their true intentions are. We can feel what they're doing behind closed doors. We can feel whether they're doing the thing that is appropriate for them or that is in line with their highest version. And we can feel that when we're seeing them in public. And this is why business deals are working out for you or they're not. This is why people are attracted to you and are like, wow, I love talking to you. Or they're saying, dude, I got to go. Like, I don't know why, I just have to run. This is why people are partners or relationships are coming your way or they're not. It's because of what you're doing behind closed doors. It's whether or not you're in alignment. And if you really knew that everybody was seeing the truth of your thoughts at all times, because that's what's actually happening, that's what's coming through, is if you are doing the thing that's in alignment with you or not, if you knew that at a deep level, it might change some of your behaviors, and not to make you shameful for the behaviors that are out of alignment, but just to give you the nudge and the wink of like, we can feel you, we see you. And that's what you were feeling, I would imagine, when you first were introduced to me, of like, this person is doing something behind closed doors that is in alignment with the person that he wants to be and his highest version. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. And body language is huge. I mean, there was, I can't remember the horse's name, but there was a horse that got toured around Europe because people thought that he knew math. And so people would ask, there would be someone that asks like, all right, what's 3 times 15? And it would click its hoof on the ground and it would start to get to like 13 and everyone watching would start to get tense. And then 14, oh, more tense. And then 15, and usually people would, oh my God, like they would hold it in so much tension. And once it reached a certain point of tension, he wouldn't hit his hoof again and he would hit the number correctly.
Wow.
So it's body language. It's how do you feel people. And you can also feel people not it doesn't have to be in person. It can be resonance of a tweet.
That's right.
Read between the lines. Where's that person? I don't know if that person's kind of going through it. And I've been that guy too.
Me too.
And people feel it. The higher vibration I'm in, the better my tweets go. I mean, can't explain that.
But we can't explain that.
Secret of the universe, maybe, but yes.
But we can explain it. That's the wild part. We actually can't explain it. When we're coming from love, we are connecting with another. And when we're connecting with another, the other is saying yes to it. And their nervous system is releasing into ours and connecting. Makes perfect sense.
Yes.
It really does.
You control that resonance. You control that frequency to an extent. And when you're with someone in person, your nervous systems can heal each other.
Yes.
And change each other.
Yes.
And that's such a beautiful, amazing thing.
So I don't want to go from the start. You've told your story a million times. I want to go from the most recent time that we've shared a space together and what the healing was like for you in the retreat.
The retreat was, I had resistance to the retreat.
And by the way, that's a great way to determine what you should and shouldn't do. Is like you feel resistance in something that you know is really good for you.
Yeah.
Might want to check that out.
I'm like, oh, I know I have to do this. Was the feeling. And also it was like, I know this is going to be an amazing experience. I'm so excited for it. And so there's that duality. But the retreat was really in my face from the beginning because I recognized how people were seeing me and the conversations I was having.
Take me before the retreat starts.
Yeah.
Just to the resistance. What was the resistance initially?
It didn't have anything to do with the retreat. It was more, I had gone bow hunting and then I missed another weekend and then I've been just working around the clock. So I was like, another weekend that I'm not working, like feel like I'm falling behind. Scarcity, lack, fear, bullshit. Let's go. And then that resistance really led up to when I had the hit of, I should offer the breathwork if Danny wants, if he has open space. I would love to do that.
And it just so happened that the same day before Nick texted me, I said, oh, you know what would be really nice? If Nick led a breathwork session at the retreat. Like genuine, honest to God thought.
Yeah. Yeah, we might have gotten the hit at the same time because I sort of sat with it for a little bit. I was like, maybe yes, maybe no. What does it feel like? And so there wasn't a ton of resistance, really. It was also hopping on. I got in the car and I drove a couple of the guys to the retreat. So we're talking and I'm just sort of recognizing like, oh, these guys are younger than me and they're going through it. I was talking to Marcus and I was like, oh, you've been where I've been. And oh, you've been, and I was like starting to see just in that car ride alone to the retreat. It's like, oh, I have so much. I just kind of unlocked some things for that guy. And it wasn't a coaching session. It wasn't me impressing anything. It was just me speaking my truth and open and giving him what he wanted.
Yes.
And he had
That's so interesting, right?
Yeah.
You're just being yourself and it's leading to growth and healing for someone else before the retreat even starts. Fascinating.
I really think that my utter attention to detail and absolute responsibility for all things in my life, that's what I really stepped into in the past 2-3 months, year. But in the past 2-3 months, it was like really radical, really every single moment responsible. The moment to moment work is the work. And I started taking responsibility for every single moment I wasn't present, every single moment that I was stuck in fear or lack or in some trigger or in some shadow or in some sort of non-useful thought pattern, and taking absolute responsibility then led me to feel this ethical, moral duty to be myself, not try to force myself to be something that I wasn't and contort, but just, oh, it's all right here. And for me to think that I have to be something that I'm not is incorrect thinking. And so leaning into that then just allowed it to be natural and easy and frictionless. So the resistance pretty much dissipated when I showed up at the retreat and the lead up and everything. And I was actually like, I mean, you came out to me during sunset and I'm like sending voice memos to every single one of my clients. Like, they're taking my phone. I'm like, they're taking my phone. But it's just you like taking my phone. Yeah, sorry guys. They're taking my phone here at the retreat. I had no idea. Peace. And it felt good. It felt good to shut that dang off.
Yeah. So the experience at the retreat itself now.
The experience at the retreat was more just leaning into. So I made the intention right when I showed up because I recognized, whoa, there's some past pattern that showed up of me wanting to fit in and me wanting to be accepted and me wanting to, whoa, this is a new tribe of dudes and we're in a house for a weekend. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? This is throwing me a little out of whack. And let me find my center line by letting go of it. Yeah.
And have you been in an environment like that before where it's 10 new guys and you haven't met them before and there's all an intention to grow in some way?
Yeah. I mean, I've been on every single ski team.
Oh, true.
Every single ski camp.
True.
Every single race I went to.
Yes.
I've run some businesses too, been part of some businesses.
Oh yeah. I forgot to mention that Nick was a D1 champion, national champion skier while giving my introduction, but
that's fine.
That's just an extra.
It's in the past.
Yeah, exactly. That's an identity we're trying to let go of and/or have fully let go of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's more. My intention for that retreat was I am just going to embody myself. Just going to be myself. Actually be myself. Just actually be myself.
Wow.
None of these games. None of this. I'm not. If I notice that I'm falling out of the center, just let it go. Like, we don't have to prove anything to anyone. And that's been a pattern in my mind of this prove it mentality, schemer, have to prove that my business is blah, 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 have to prove that. I did fundraising for the first 2 years when I came to Austin for this oil and gas tech startup. That's a fucking game. So those patterns were ingrained and it's been a deconditioning. And I think a lot of people think you got to recondition, but it's often just deconditioning what's not serving you, surrendering what you're ignorant to and what's not helping you, and recognizing that those things are truly not helping you, and just letting them go.
Right. So take us through that. So what happened? You felt the pattern of, oh, I want to fit in. You get to the retreat, I want to fit in. And what did you do after that comes up? Did you notice that in how you were speaking to people? How did you notice that? It was just in your body?
I noticed that the thoughts in my mind were coming in saying like telling me how to behave.
Oh, interesting.
Telling me how to act. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yes.
But I had cultivated the awareness enough in the moment to moment to be able to say that in the first place.
Wow.
To be able to be like, I see what you're doing. It's okay. Chill.
Yeah.
Don't need that. Not for me. I take responsibility for the fear, but it's not for me. It's a lie. Release from it and use my body to release from it. And that's been my big thing, is like grounded in the body, embodied. And that allowed me to be like, dude, you have nothing to prove. You are literally here. You have no expectations. Just enjoy this. Let it go. And we immediately ran for like 3 miles. I forgot my running shoes, so I ran it in flip-flops.
Classic.
And the guys are like tripping that I'm running in flip-flops. I'm like, guys, I just really love running with people and having a conversation. So it was very smooth from that point on. Once I set that real intention of I'm just going to be myself, it was easy.
It's really interesting as well that you you mentioned the running piece of it where you literally got into your body and that helps bring the tension down. You ran embodied in your body. So
Yes.
there's something to that as well.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Then take me through leading the breath work and what that did for you.
Well, that was a really life-changing moment, and a moment that I'll never forget. And I noticed the fear coming up even then. It's like, oh, this is Danny's retreat. Don't fuck it up. Blah, blah, blah. And it was just always a recognition of like, I know who the fuck I am. I know who I am. I know who I am. I remember who I am. I'm not going to allow these externalities to dictate who I am or what I think. And so I really believe that I prepared my whole life for that moment, and I've prepared my whole life for this moment right now and the next moment and the next moment. And so that moment came, and something that I use a lot with my athletes is get out of your mind and into your body, and anything is possible in this moment. And there are no stakes here.
There are no stakes here. That's what we said before starting this podcast. And I think we can do better because on that phrasing, although I agree with it, because if we're going to say there's no stakes here, how are we going to have our ribeyes? How are we going to eat a ribeye if there are no stakes here?
Yeah.
I
love steaks.
But yeah,
we
love steaks. That's the thing. We love steaks, but the idea of like there's no actual pressure on the situation, and it's all created. Right?
Yes. And so what we do, and naturally what we're going to do with the primal body, and we're a little in fight or flight, and I'm a little in fight or flight before I go do this breath work, is, and this is actually something I did when I was younger before races, but I'm like, this is what it feels like to be alive. And it doesn't have to be labeled as bad. It doesn't have to be labeled. Nervousness is not a bad thing.
Right.
This is what it feels like to be alive. And when our ancestors were back in the day and we were hunting for food, it was that precision between faith and fear, that equilibrium. I hope that I get this animal so that my family can eat. I'm afraid that if I don't, I'll die. And so that impulse of the spirit of fear and death fused with faith that you're going to live, faith in something greater than yourself. I feel like I found that razor's edge for that breath work. And I just knew exactly what to do and knew what to say, and just sat in that for a moment and let everyone kind of sit down and get ready and okay. And it was just no hesitation, full conviction, and no additional pressure on myself, unnecessary additional pressure that creates tension that then snaps the slingshot. And I just let the slingshot go. I released, had faith. And it was amazing to see everyone's faces after. Some of the guys have been crying. Some of the guys have been going through it. And at the end, they're like lit up. And I'm like, wow, I manipulated their energy. I manipulated your nervous system. I changed it. I unleashed a new belief in yourself of what you can do with the breath. And that made it all worth it. And so everyone's sitting there meditating. And I had to sit down and look at the sunset. And I was like, this is one of those moments. Because I hadn't done a guided breath work for people, a group in person before.
Ever.
No.
And if you saw this scene, I mean, we'll post an image of this here. Video King Papa will insert it on the YouTube version of this. It was out of a movie. Whereas it's a field, an AstroTurf field overlooking this beautiful canyon type. The Colorado River's off in the distance, and we're on top of, I don't know, we must have been 2,000, 3,000 feet up, just looking out. And to lead your first breathwork ever in this setting, people were asking, like, how many times have you done this? Like, when did you start doing this? It's like, oh, this is my first one that I've ever done. And I was like, what? Are you serious? Are you serious right now? This is your baseline? And obviously you had been posting breathwork sessions online. You'd been doing one-on-one clients and leading them through breathwork. It wasn't
It's what you do behind closed doors. I do that every morning behind closed doors.
That's right.
With myself.
That's right. So you literally healed yourself through breathwork, and then that expanded into one-on-one clients, and it expanded virtually. But to do a group breathwork session in person, first time ever doing that, people were like, oh my God. And you felt, oh my God, you felt like this is my purpose. This is my reason for being. I'm living my reason for being right now. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I got to have this experience in this moment is a magical, magical thing. And it felt divinely orchestrated. The way the sun was setting, the canyon, the mansion, it's like, what is going on? How did all these pieces come? You couldn't have manifested and dreamed up a scenario like that.
No. And everyone's eyes are closed, and I'm able to look directly into the sunrise or sunset. I'm just looking directly into the sunset, feeling God. And just the sun going straight into my eyes in that moment felt like a new deep level of faith was unlocked for me in all of this, and in God, and in myself. And for that, I thank you, because that was a gift. And it's natural for you to see that as a natural thing, but that's not a natural thing necessarily to do when you're the host of a retreat, and to like allow but regardless, allow someone else the floor. With your own retreat, your own container, you are humble enough to be like, do this, Nick. And I'm forever grateful for that. And that was so just also amazing. Incredible.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. And it's similar to you giving me a spare mattress that you have. It's similar to you going to my ex-girlfriend's storage unit, right? It's the same thing. It's like, of course I would. What do you mean? But it really is the work that I've done on my own ego. To let it go. You need to be seen in this way. You need to be seen as the person who's leading the retreat and knowing everything. And all of the letting go allows me to just be present for what is the highest good in each moment. Mm-hmm. And that felt like the highest good in that moment, to teach and guide people through breathwork that I didn't have the firsthand experience with. And you did, and you've done it. And this has played a pivotal role in your life. Mm-hmm. So it felt natural. And this is an important piece, is when people start thanking you for things that you do naturally, that's when you've reached and unlocked a new flow in your own life. That's when you've elevated your consciousness, because you know there's no other thing you could have done. And in reality, you did so much to get to that point. And what people are thanking you for is that recognition of the work that you did on yourself to get to that point. Fuck. I've never had that thought before. And this is the thing. This is the thing about this connection and this partnership, is so much is coming forth that I'm like, I've never thought about it like that before.
Mm-hmm. Likewise.
And that's such a beautiful feeling to have. And it makes me feel so held, and so knowing that this is right. That this is supposed to be a 7 podcast series of me and you talking one-on-one and seeing what comes up and what comes out. And we have ideas for where we want to take it. We have nonstop content. But the truth is, I just want to learn from you. I just want to take information from you. I just want to give you information that I have. And I want our minds to become one so that we can elevate as many people as humanly possible. Mm-hmm. And I know we're doing that.
Yep. Mind melding together, third brain tapped in. And I felt that at the retreat, because I see you in your reason for being, which pushed everyone at the retreat to be in their truth and to put their preconceived notions about who and what they should do and how they should act and what they should say in any given moment, and how they need to impress the other people at the retreat with some inquisitive, smart remark. Like, everyone kind of let go of all that nonsense that you have sometimes at the dinner, at the conversation, at the fundraising event.
Yeah.
You let it all go. And it's like the guys who get funded are the guys who don't care.
Have let it go.
The guys who get the girl, they don't care.
Yeah.
It's not about them. It's not about the outcome. It's like, when you chase after it, I want to be seen as a high level guy at Danny's retreat. Lame. That's over. That's 2015, Nick. Over. Don't need that anymore because it comes from fear.
Right. And so if you find yourself, if like someone listening finds himself in the position of, I want to impress, I want to be seen as, I want to create this image of myself because then I can do this. You're playing a game that is losing before you even start. Because that game is going, maybe you do get what you want. Maybe you do get the girl. Maybe you do get fundraised. Maybe you do close that business deal. And then on the other side of that, you feel like shit. On the other side of that, you ask, why does this not feel right? On the other side of that, you're like, was that just a facade? Yes, it was. You know, and I can speak from personal experience of going into the drop shipping world, trying to make all this money, living in San Diego. And I'm like, why does this not feel right? This is supposed to be what I wanted. But it was a facade.
Yep.
It was not acting in love. It was acting in fear. And it's not one or the other, right? Because there are elements of, I love making money. There are elements of, I love being with my friends. I love being in San Diego, right? There are elements of love in that. But there's also elements of fear. And the fear eventually won over because I was not operating in true alignment. I was operating as if I needed to make money. I had this blog that I wanted to start after college called Carpe Diem. And the idea was seize the day with my initials and talking about how to be the best version of yourself, how to align, how to be, how to achieve your goals. You know, I had 10, 15 blog posts listed out. I was like, this will never make money. I can't do this. It's like, that's the deepest essence, most true version of you. So look at that. And I think what the lesson is for me is, what would you do if money wasn't an object? If you just forget about that for 1 second and you just focus on what you actually love. And if you don't know what you actually love, okay, there's processes for that too. But if you do have a sense, going even one step into that, going one step into, I'm going to live a life that's more in alignment with love, in what I love and what I would do if no one was watching. Just one step. I started doing that when COVID happened. I moved back home with my parents, and now I'm like, the world's going to end, so let me just do what the fuck I want to do, and let me do what I was doing as a child. Just start writing blog posts about the things that I was going to write about 2 years earlier. That leads to the podcast. The podcast leads to me understanding myself deeper. Me understanding myself deeper leads to coaching, retreats, and now I'm sitting here doing the podcast with you because I just followed what I loved and followed what was true regardless of what the outside circumstances said could or could not make money. So,
what one event or thing, phenomenon that happened to shift you into, I need to take a step?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a grounded question. One was COVID, outside circumstances. I need to make a shift in a big way. So like the outside circumstances being, this could be really bad.
That's usually what the circumstances are for people in that place though. I'm in the 9 to 5. I hate this. I don't know what to do. I kind of think I want to maybe do X.
Right.
So what was the internal shift?
The internal actually happened 6 months prior. In September 2019. The reason why I was in that position during COVID to actually follow what I wanted was because 6 months prior, I said to myself, I'm making over $10,000 a month. I'm living in the best place in my life, and I feel like shit inside when my head hits the pillow, and I don't stand for this anymore. I do not stand for this. And so mid-September, I quit the job. At first, I sent an email to my friend Tej Dosa, who I saw and recorded a podcast with yesterday with Jack Moses. You should check that out. And I sent an email to him. And sending the email to him was the recognition that I was no longer going to live the life that I was living. And it was me being aware in that moment and me admitting the truth. And then I admit the truth. And I was like, what should I do? I don't know if I should quit my job or not. Within 24 hours after sending the email, I quit the job. And after quitting the job, I said, I don't know what the fuck to do. And so I'm Googling and just trying to figure it out. and I do 75 hard. I see 75 hard, the program that every day you read 10 pages of a book, you do 2 workouts, one of them has to be outside, you drink a gallon of water, you read 10 pages, and you take a progress picture, and you do that every day for 75 days straight. I didn't know who Andy Frisella, the creator of it, was. I just knew that I needed to do this. Something deep within my soul says, you need to do this. And I meditated every day, 20 minutes to start the day before doing anything. And from quitting my job and gambling to doing 75 hard and meditating were 2 different realities. And within 1 month, magic starts happening in my life. And so I made the internal decision, and I end up going back. After 75 hard is over and I'm celebrating and I'm partying, I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't need to meditate. I don't need to do 75 hard. I wasn't held in a container. I wasn't held by people of like, there wasn't anyone who was with me who was on that same page. There wasn't a community who cared for my best interests. And so I'm sitting here like, okay, like I just completed 75 hard and meditated and I got magic in my life, but you know what? No one cares. No one. So I'm just going to fuck off for that rest of the year.
Mm-hmm. You're up at Everest with no oxygen.
That's right. No one there to support me in my real physical reality. And I had Tej, but he's living in a different country in Canada, and I'm not being held accountable after I've climbed this Everest.
I think that you knew what to do. You knew 75 hard was the right thing, in the right trajectory of what your highest good was. And so often that's what happens. And that's where I step in.
Yes.
At least with my business.
And that's where I
what
step
community
in.
is.
Yes.
That's what community coaching is like. A lot of it is, hey, I'm here with you every step of the way, and I'm going to keep you accountable to the extent that you want. And then not only that, but I've done plenty of coaching. I've done plenty of cohorts at this point. It's like there's still that container afterwards where it's like in the back of your mind, you know that the guys you meet on Tuesdays, what would they think of this?
Yes.
Probably not. They would probably be like, what are you doing at 3 a.m. drinking?
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
And that is a very grounding thing as well, because we can just kind of get into this defeatist state sometimes. And I know that state, and I know you know that state, where it's like, well, what does it even matter?
Right. I'm alone.
I just did 75 hard. You deserve it.
Yes.
You
I
deserve it.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Oh my God. These are the killers. These are the silent killers of our reality and the reality that we want to create. You're good. You already did the work.
Yeah. Sleep in.
You already did it.
Sleep in, bro.
You're fine.
Don't meditate.
Yeah. And it's like the little devil on your shoulder.
Mm-hmm. And then that devil, when you do the thing, will convince you that it's unforgivable.
See, you're a piece of
up.
shit.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Slept in. What the fuck? Now you're rushed today. Now you're a bunch of anxiety. Good job. What, you couldn't operate on 6 hours of sleep? What was that about? Come on.
Yeah.
Get moving. You're not good enough.
Yeah. And this is what's so powerful about what we're creating, right? We are going to give people a way to actually have the community, actually have the curriculum, actually be held in a place where they're doing the thing that's in alignment for them, and they are seeing other people do the thing that's in alignment for them over and over and over again.
I am so, for one, I think that COVID, remote, a lot of people work remote right now. Mm-hmm. It's like they don't have that actually. You're kind of held accountable to like the people you go into the office with, kind of held accountable to your near vicinity community and whatnot, by having a true container, because information's cheap.
Yeah.
You have all the information you could possibly need to become a billionaire right here, right now. Yeah. So what's up? You can't do it yourself.
Why can't you do what you say you're going to do?
Yeah. The promises you make to yourself are the most important promises of all. Die on that hill.
Yes.
And when you break those promises as well, let's say, yeah, you did 75 hard and you're on a high and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go party.
Yeah.
And then there's the flip side of that where you're just deep in it. You are so deep dark that at a certain point, what has to happen is that trap door coming down and there's just fire underneath you and you have to go up. There's nowhere else to go. And you get to that point you got to that point in your journey where the soul, there was so much corrosion and friction. You're like, I have to do something else. I can't stand by this. I have to stand by my principles and values and beliefs about what I really can get out of life here. But for the first 7 years of your life, you're in theta wave state and you're getting programmed to do the opposite of that. And then the rest of your life, you're also getting programmed to do the opposite of that. So it's not just what's in here, but you have to recognize that the world's trying to tell you how to behave and who you are at all times. All times.
And we are too. Yeah. And we are holding the vision for you of your highest version.
Mm-hmm.
And so who is programming you?
Exactly.
Who the fuck is programming you? You taking that from your best friend from high school who hasn't grown? You taking it from your parent who doesn't see the vision that you have for yourself? You taking it from your boss who wants to keep you in your current position?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you taking your reality from and what you can do for your life? I hold the vision for every person listening to this right now, that there is a version of you that is excelling, that is loving life, that is loving every moment, that is appreciating the miracles that happened before them, that is creating the reality that they want. I genuinely feel that, and I hold that for human beings.
I feel that a big thing that stopped me was that I didn't think it was possible. And that was a thought that I had after the breathwork session at your retreat was, I didn't know that this was possible. I didn't know that this feeling was possible. And I think that that's a big limiting factor, barrier in people's minds is they don't think it's possible.
Yeah. Yes.
And once they taste it though, then it's like, oh.
This is my cousin Ben.
I didn't know it was possible, but it's possible. Yes, this was Ben.
My cousin Ben lived in New York his whole life. And he comes down, stays with me for 2 weeks. We have an incredible experience, and he ends his time with me by going to the retreat. And his basic idea after the retreat was over was, I didn't know this was possible. I didn't know that living in truth this would happen. I didn't understand that. Now I can't unsee this. I can't unsee the truth. I can't unsee that telling the truth leads to better outcomes, which leads me to live more in love, which leads me to connect deeper with people, which leads me to have better outcomes in my life. I can't unsee this. And now that means that I have work to do because there's all these places that I've been lying to myself. Great. That's where we come in,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's so real, and it's so real on so many different levels. You can talk about it on a sexual energy level. You can talk about it on a health level. I didn't know what it felt like to feel healthy, to be healthy.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it felt like to eliminate my vices and go celibate for 6 months. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know how good I would feel. And I didn't know that me making a decision, which is just your beliefs. Your beliefs are your decisions. You make a decision and you make that decision every single day. You get to a point where you reach escape velocity. And I feel like I waited my whole life for that moment. I feel like I waited my whole life for the moment this summer where I just quit my job and then immediately paid a bunch of money to have someone help me out and show me, how do I run this business? I no idea. And it was just courage to the point where then you get rewarded from it. And you have to, though, I believe, you have to signal to the universe, take the next step. You have to be like, I am going in this direction. And then God, the universe, universal provision, paves the way. Now you are at a higher level of consciousness so you can become aware of what it feels like to love yourself, to make that much money in a month, to have that relationship. Until you are conscious of it, you can't feel it. So becoming conscious, giving that feeling to yourself instead of waiting for it. And what you were on the path of, what I was on the path of, was the best path I could think of when I was 23, 24, 25, recognizing that that was the best thing I could possibly think of doing at that time, but that is no longer serving me now. So actually what I should always be using is just What is the core virtue I'm going for? And not get concerned with it has to be an oil and gas technology that's going to save the industry.
Right.
It can be breath. I had so much resistance to breath. So I don't want to be the breathwork guy. Come on, that's so basic.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to that. Oh my God. Like, and what's so interesting is that our deepest resistance points to what we're actually here to do. I don't want to be a fucking coach. Everyone's a coach. That's so basic. That doesn't make it. I want to do a podcast and I want to make all my money through the podcast. And me making money through the podcast is what is going to validate me and make me feel whole. It's like, what would happen if you dropped that? Who would you become if you dropped that? To some people, you'd become the basic coach. To other people who know you at a deeper level, you'd become the truth of who you are.
I'll be happy when.
If you find yourself thinking that in any small moment, that's a signal. Mm-hmm. That's a tell for you to, there's something here. Mm-hmm. I'm not the podcast. Me making money from the podcast is not the essence of who I am. It just was going to make me feel good in that moment, to make me feel validated by the people that I wanted to be validated by.
Wow. And it feels like the exact type of flow and conversation that we had on the drive here.
Yes, it
and
is.
Over the past week.
It is.
And so it feels like it's coming from a different place.
It is.
Which is amazing.
It really is. Because, I'd do this deep research and I'd prepare and I know everything about you. And it was coming from love for the other person. But that was the surface level root of it. The deeper truth was, you're scared you're going to be unprepared. Mm-hmm. You're scared that the other person is not going to have a good experience with you. You're not enough. Mm-hmm. Drink this coffee. You're not enough.
Yeah.
And that was another one that came out in the last couple months. Like, when I drink coffee, I'm doing it from a place of, if you have this coffee, then you're going to be extra smart and you're going to be enough. And it's like, all of these beliefs and understanding these beliefs took time for me to understand, took space, took loving mentors and people to talk to and work with. And then when I was able to work through all of them, I became a deeper, more truer essence of who I am in every moment, which includes on a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Beliefs are the red meat of this kind of stuff. Because the belief of, I need that coffee is, I don't have enough energy.
Right.
I don't have enough of XYZ.
Right.
So it's like, take an audit. Where am I giving my power away in my life? I don't have enough relaxation, feminine energy in my life, so I'm going to resort to porn.
Right.
I don't have enough fun, loving, compassionate, feminine energy in my life, so I'm going to resort to weed. I don't have enough of this edge, belief, conviction, sharpness in the mind, so I'm going to take a bunch of nootropic supplements and nicotine, and I don't feel comfortable enough in the social situation on Friday night, so I'm going to have a beer.
Or I'm going to listen to a podcast.
Or I'm going to listen to a podcast and escape my own thoughts.
Right. And if you hear yourself in any one of these, if you're listening, and you feel yourself have a reaction to it, there is freedom on the other side of that reaction. If you're like, fuck these guys, or like, oh no, that's not true. That energy is speaking to something deep that you don't likely want to look at. And I know because I've been there so many times where I feel myself, I mean, it happened with the family constellations that we did, where I feel myself be like, no. And I'm like, oh my God, I know what that no means. That no means yes, but I'm not ready to look at it right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's my invitation for someone listening is, if you feel like something is hitting some of your stuff, just know, one, that's a great thing if you're willing to look at it. And two, that's a very painful thing if you're not willing to look at it. Yeah, you got to.
And it will become a symbol in your mind, because what you're resisting is going to persist, and it's just going to close the loop until you accept that you are sad, addicted,
right,
grieving,
right,
in shame, whatever. Until you sit with it and then act courageously from that place, you're going to keep resisting it. It's going to become a symbol. It's going to become the you're going to have a bunch of final bosses in your mind instead of maybe a couple.
Right. And things that you're trying to avoid at all times instead of.
Then you react to life, not respond.
Right. I wanted to come back to the acting courageously, because when you said that line, when you said something about courage in the retreat that made me stop and be like, yeah, that is true. And just give me your rundown on courage and how using courage has been important for you.
Great question. Well, for the intellectuals that want to break it down on the map of consciousness, I encourage them to look really hard and be like, well, where is the inflection point from lower level fear-based consciousness to upper level faith-based consciousness? And so that inflection point is courage. God fucking loves courage, I believe.
God fucking loves courage.
I would repeat that line hundreds of times this past spring to myself.
God loves courage. God loves courage. God loves courage. God loves courage. God loves courage.
Yes. And so what do we need for courage? You break it down. All change happens from the identity level outwards. Yes, great. But all change happens from the awareness level downwards. So awareness will give us the ability to accept it. So what we're doing on this podcast right now is making people aware of the places where they're escaping or the things they're not meeting with courage. What's your edge? Your edge is the thing you are not meeting with courage in your life. And what's tricky about this is that your nervous system wants to keep you safe, not fulfilled. It doesn't want to meet the edge, but then the edge is going to cut you, and it's going to be even more painful because you're going to be 20 years down the line still working your 9 to 5 because you didn't meet the edge with courage. You may have been aware, but that made the edge that much sharper and more painful for you.
And by the way, 9 to 5, you could put in a business that is not. You're running a business right now and it's not free. It could be a relationship. It's just the placeholder for this is you doing the thing that you feel safe in, but you actually know is not for your highest good. Right?
Everyone has an edge, and living on the edge is that's where growth happens. There's no growth in safety in your nervous system. And so for me, awareness happens downwards. Awareness leads to acceptance. I just know if this is the process, okay, awareness that I am triggered by something Nick said. Let me accept the feeling in my body that arose from that, and let me really feel the feelings that arose to a point of surrender, because all of your thoughts are due to unfelt feelings. So awareness to acceptance to surrender. Surrender gives you freedom. To what? Leapfrog whatever energetic log you're at on the map of consciousness to courage, to the inflection point of 200. If you want to quantify it, 200. But it gives you the freedom to act. And in every single moment in your life, you have the ability to choose to be courageous. That choice is always available. So it doesn't matter where you're at. There is a choice in the moment. And that choice oftentimes is literally sitting in the shit in your body. And sitting in the sensations and be like, the most courageous thing for me to do right now is to feel these feelings and not disassociate up into my mind and start spinning the wheels with my emergency brake on, trying to logically left brain thinking, figure it out. Let me not try to figure it out. Let me be present in the present moment. The present moment is only for the most courageous of men, women. So courage is everything, because I believe also in the nervous system that there's no such thing as being fearless. If you're a high performer and you're walking out on the Olympic stadium, or you're going into some hard-hitting business meeting with a bunch of sharp-elbowed dudes, like, your nervous system's gonna be ramped up, and that's when you have to remind yourself, this is what it feels like to be alive. Fear is not necessarily a bad thing. Fear of fear itself is a bad thing, and fear just requires me to meet it with courage. That allows for everything I've done in my entire life, all the training, all the belief, all the stuff I've done behind closed doors, all the momentum that has inertia behind it. You create the fissure through the wall by just choosing God fucking loves courage, and let me just go and act and put myself out there in that moment. God loves courage. Let me just go do this guided breath work at this amazing, incredible retreat. Let me just be courageous and feel how anxious I am in this moment with all this stuff happening in my life. Let me just feel those feelings and turn them from a solid into a liquid, into a gas, and then something greater can come in its place.
Yeah, this might be tender for you for the recent, but this last week that we've been on, like how have you had to use courage in the past week for all of the joy and love and prosperity that we are creating together?
Mm-hmm. I had to have the courage to be okay with past ways of thinking and being that were wanting to remain. So last week we're hurtling comet through this reality. We're just blowing through doors.
We got to break down some of this stuff for people just so they get a sense.
I mean, the last week was...
So let me just give my perspective of
you
it.
Go. Good luck.
I mean, there's no way to get all of the things that we've done in the past week together, but it really all started when I had this magical, amazing morning when I go on this walk with a friend of mine, and I feel an awe. I feel appreciation for the walk. I feel like so much is opening up in my life, and I immediately call my friend Jack Moses on the phone after it's done, being like, dude, I got to talk to you and tell you about what just happened this morning. And Jack says, dude, I just sat down with Nick. And I was like, great. I'm going to crash that meeting right now. No choice. You have no choice. I'm appearing in your field. And so I did. And I sat down at this table. I drive over and sit down, and immediately within, an hour of talking, we have a business plan, a business idea fleshed out. We had talked about hosting a retreat in the past, but it was kind of this thing that was just in the field that wasn't really defined in any way. To us both feeling, wow, this is amazing. This is energizing. This is aligned with me. This is right. I feel this is for the best interest of me. I feel this is in the best interest of you. I feel this is in the best interest of humanity and people in general. That's what happened to start it off. And then the ideas start flowing. The mind starts getting connected. I mean, it's like magic then just started to occur. Realized there's no other way to describe it. Miracles and connections. And I would go to a meeting, a Rasha sound wave healing session, and it was just, Nick was just finishing up his session.
Yeah, that was weird. That happened like 6 times. Meeting each other at the perfect, like, oh, we're in transition. Oh, let's go talk. Like, whoa, that was really wild for me, because there's a level of skepticism that my brain always takes with these types of things. Like, oh, synchronicity, like whatever. I just saw like numbers are everywhere, bro. And that was so in my face this past week. Not even the numbers and the things. It was like every conversation, my intuition's just like, yep, razor's edge. That is the direction. Not a degree left, not a degree right. Just keep doing that. And then every single person in my life that I'm talking to, my dad, you, Jack, my brother, everyone that we spoke to over the past week, just compounded in this conviction that I have, and also the crystallization of what it's going to be.
Yes.
And I was like, this is effortless. I have used the least amount of force in my life in the past week, and it has created the most acceleration I've ever experienced. Power versus force. I'm like, yeah, all right. I understand.
So bring it back to courage now, and how you've had to use courage to live in this week.
Because I like to be strategically, tactically exercising patience, analyzing, left brain thinking, strategizing, like scheming mind. I like to be like very deliberate with what step am I taking right now. And this past week was like 0 to 1. Here we go. We're going.
Welcome to my world, baby. Welcome to my world.
Oh, yeah. And I believe it and I love it because that's my edge is, hey, and it's funny. And, you know, this is maybe esoteric, but on the right side of your body is the more masculine energy associations in Chinese medicine and whatnot. And so my right foot is what was injured in college and I couldn't walk on it for 10 months and I never wanted to take the right step forward first. I was always like tentatively like, let's ease into this, let's just chill, and recognizing that that's just a pattern that I've always had in life. So, oh, do I ski for this school? Do I ski for that school? Do I do this training block? Do I do that training camp? Do I do this company? Do I leave this company? Do I do this? Do it blah, 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 blah. To then being like, this, quit the job, do the thing. Danny's, all right, let's go. There's the vehicle. Just hop in, bro. Don't overthink it. It agrees with my intuition, but that analytical system one conscious analyzing brain is like, whoa, but we haven't figured out every single possible factor and what if of the situation. And I'm like, override. And you get to that point of conviction in your intuition where you're just override. And the universe is always going to be testing your conviction in what decision you're going to be making. And I've found that played out in the past company I was at. So it prepared me for this. It was like, no, I'm convicted. Let's run it. Run the jets. Let's go.
That makes me so happy to hear that your edge and you describing your edge is just trusting and letting go and knowing and believing with 100% certainty that you are being held by the field and your decision is correct. I love, and take that in. Yeah. I love that that's your edge because that is my home, that place. And my edge is, do you have the systems in place? I have no website. I have no way to collect emails. I just make shit up as I go and it all always works out. And so my edge is, think you should use some systems, bro. You know, I think having more understanding of the different possibilities and grounding yourself in the reality that people are actually living in currently, of it's not just go with the flow of everything. It's like, okay, think about things through a little more. And being with you and planning it out, I would never have planned out a curriculum. I would never have planned out this is what I'm going to be doing 4 months from now. But doing this partnership is requiring me to be in one mind with you, and that requires planning and the more yang energy, right? The more like, this is the structure, this is the way we're going to do it. And so it's amazing that your edge and my edge are both helping each other grow. And that's what we found, and that's what makes it so special.
Yeah. No, it's very, very clear to me that that's what's been happening over the past week, because every single conversation that we have, I become more embodied. I become more confident in the whole, for one, the amount of value is going to be a 0 to 1 transformation. Like that's already done, but it's actually just how we're going to be operating on a day-to-day basis and how we're going to be feeling, and the feeling that I get from it automatically and the feeling I am able to give myself in this endeavor feels so good, because I'm like, great, good. That's exactly what I need to be doing. I'm coming from the school of fear and force, and I'm moving at every stepping stone in my life is moving away. But no, it's okay. Trust, faith, moving on the spectrum from fear to faith. And then this past week was like, there is so much faith right now that it's like, do I really believe? This is too good to be true. I don't believe it. Is this actually what it feels like? Blah, 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 blah. Incessant, rambling, negative thoughts at times that are like, that's not true. And I also trust myself in every single moment to know whether that's feeling good or feeling bad, or whether I resonate with that or whether. So it's all a matter of the reticular activating system and what are you focusing on? Because I could have the limiting belief, but I could make a new decision and then I could find a plethora of evidence to support that new decision. And that's what I did this past week. It's like, okay, these beliefs are no longer serving me. They're constricting me. They're keeping me in a state of contraction, even though it's subtly. And so my expansion hit that level of contraction, and it was like this happening over the week.
Yeah.
And podcast listeners maybe can't see that, but I'm hitting that point of resistance and choosing to let go and lean in, and then it'll break open.
Let go and lean in, and then it'll break open. It's so true. It's so true. And it's such a joy to watch your journey of this as you're giving me the day-by-day updates. I'm like, dude, I talked to this person, I'm thinking this now, and I'm kind of scared of it. And you're so open. And that's the thing. The transparency between us is so, I'm sure from where you're coming from, is like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
This is the best partnership. This is somebody who's on the same page with me, who has the same life mission as me, who's working towards the same direction, and who actually wants to communicate and is a communicator by trade and wants to share information.
You are one of one in my life thus far of people that I've done business with that are like, yo, we're together on this, hand in hand. See you, you see me. And I'm not saying that's not everyone, but I'm saying that I've had a lot of opportunities. I had 8 coaches across 12 years of ski racing.
Wow.
And then I had certain bosses, even my dad. The pattern goes back to my dad getting fucked over by business guys, people that were out for money, out for blood, out for ego. It's in the nervous system for sure. There's a distortion there. And then there's a recognition where even last Sunday, I sat you and Jack down. I was like, look, this is what I need. If this is going to work out, there needs to be transparency and communication and leadership and integrity. And that's how we're going to roll. And that's how I need it to roll. Otherwise, I will implode.
Yeah.
And self-sabotage.
And you saying that, and you being the person that you are, who's such a clear communicator, who were sending each other texts at 10:30 at night and 7 a.m. in the morning. And it's like, oh, I have that in me as well. I haven't been accessing or tapping into that because there's been no partnership that's required that for me. And I see that in my dad. My dad is somebody who's texting every moment, being like, you got this? What about this file? This. And looking back, I appreciate so much that my dad is that clear of a communicator and that persistent of a communicator, because it's such an edge when you're working with somebody, is just send more messages. Just over communicate. Be on the same page. Let them know you're thinking about them. Send them that meme. Send them that. I don't need to fucking send them meme.
I'm always sending memes.
Yeah. But actually, if you break down what that is, it's saying, I saw this piece of information and I'm thinking about you when I saw this piece of information. And it's just a way to make someone laugh in that moment, but it's actually communicating something way deeper, which is that this person is in my thoughts and in my awareness while I'm scrolling through the internet. And so what I really just am so grateful for is that you've brought that out of me in an even deeper way of communicate, over communicate, share. The more information we have, the better. We're all on the same page here. We're all working together. This is a partnership. This is a collaboration. If it's going to work, we're going to have to be one mind. Yeah. And we are. And we work with that every day.
And if it's going to work, I would rather know everything right up front. Give me as much data as possible. Text me in the morning. What is he saying in the morning? What does he say in the evening? Oh, I'm laughing. I'm feeling good. I'm still resonating. Okay, great. Touch. Finger on the pulse. Versus in my history, it's been like,
what is he thinking?
A month of no comms from my CEO. I'm like, yo, where are we at? Am I getting paid next month, bro? And so this is completely different. And I love bringing that out of you because it's brought it out of me. And I know that just 99% of problems happen because of miscommunication or lack of.
That's right.
Like, I just really, truly believe that, because if people were honest enough and didn't have the nice guy syndrome and were in touch with their intuition and were in their power and spoke their fucking mind, a lot of problems would be solved.
Yes.
A lot.
And this is the thing also, is you deciding you didn't want to work a job anymore was you owning your power, was bringing in the person who could communicate with you in the way that you wanted. Right? You made the decision. I have responsibility over my circumstance. If I'm worried about getting paid in the next month, if I haven't spoke to my CEO in any way, okay, that's on me. You took responsibility for that in some way and said, I no longer allow this for myself. because there's reasons why I could stay. There's reasons why I could do this. And I choose to bet on myself, and I choose myself. And that is powerful. And that brings in somebody into your field who also wants to do that. And so we have more power than we think, but we're just scared in that position of there's a reason why you're staying. There's a reason why you're not going. There's a reason why that job is like, oh, I actually like it. It's comfortable. There's a reason why that relationship, same way. But it's not for your highest good. And I remember you being in my apartment just talking to me, and I'm like, I know the right way. You know the right way. And we could have the same conversation a year from now.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yep. It's so clear you have to take that first step and be selfish. Like people have that going on as a shadow as well.
That's right. I don't want to be selfish.
Oh, I'm doing it for my dad. I'm doing it for my mom. I'm doing it for blah, blah, blah. It's like, and of course, if you're the provider of the family, you are bearing the responsibility of that. And so that creates inherent limitations. But within that, you still have the imperative to prioritize yourself. At the end of the day, you care about yourself more than anyone else, period. And so if you're in a place in your life where you have the freedom, you don't have crazy amount of debt, mortgage, money, kids, all the stuff, and you are kind of like, okay, now you're kind of in this track, so what can you do within this track? But so many people don't realize how free they are.
Yes.
And they convince themselves that they're in this, and they have to go to New York City, and they have to get the fancy job, and then they have to work for 3 years at Accenture, and then if they work for less than 3 years, then people aren't going to take them seriously, and if they work for more than 5 years, then they're going to have to go for the next 10 years there, and it's like, bro.
These are all made up stories.
Yes. That haunted me for years.
Yeah. I mean, it haunted me for years too. I'm in college thinking I need to be in college. My parents need me to be in college. My parents are paying for my education, and they need me to be in college. And I owe them. And bro, you don't owe them anything, actually. You owe yourself. But that takes responsibility. And now I don't want to accept the pressure that that's going to take. So I'm just going to choose the easy route that they approve of.
Yeah.
And that's a trap.
And that's an edge. And oftentimes the edge is literally the hard conversation you're not having.
That's right. That's right. And people can only care about you to the extent that you care about yourself. People can only care about you to the extent that you care about yourself. And if you really let that sit in and be like, where am I not caring for myself? And you realize my fitness is not doing what I want it to. My finances are not doing what I want it to. Where are you not caring for yourself? Your creative pursuit, your relationship. These are all places for you to look at, for you to say, if I can start caring for myself in this area, then that gives people the opportunity to respect me and see me in this area. And for me, the reason why I'm communicating like this is because you respected yourself.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here if I hadn't taken the bet on myself. And I'm so thankful that I did. Because it could have been a year. We could have had the same conversation a year later. And I have certain people that I've talked to that are in my life that are like literally living that out, where it's like another year went by. Still I ask him, oh, the job's okay, and the girlfriend's and I'm like, brother, when are you going to stop settling? But it's difficult too, even just when you want them to feel good. You don't necessarily want to go in and cut them up and be like, hey, reality check, you're living your lie right now.
Right.
So there's that. You want them to be open enough to receive it as well. They have to become conscious enough to reach a point of awareness of like, wow, I really am uncomfortable. I really don't like this girl. I really don't like this guy. I really don't like this job. I really don't like my body, my fitness, my health, my belief structure. And I'm keenly aware of it, which can be a forcing mechanism then for that change. But yes, you can only care about yourself to the extent that you can only care about others to the extent that you care about yourself. Well, all change happens from the identity level. So that identity, people don't care enough about themselves. And then they deteriorate and erode the structure of their identity through porn and weed and drinking and settling and the job they don't like, etc. So that's the tough part, is it's usually you got a lot of bonfires all blazing at once, and when then your nervous system's super scared, and it's day-by-day basis, your nervous system does not feel safe on a day-to-day basis, which makes it so that you don't feel present or can enjoy it, and you don't feel safe to the point that you go tunnel vision. You can't see the options, you can't see the opportunities when your nervous system's like, just focus on this thing and you'll survive. You got to be open. The reticular activating system's focused on what to focus on. Well, it's focused on all the reasons why your life is a sham. That has to switch. Very difficult, but doable.
Doable.
So possible.
100%
You can
doable.
be grateful for the block of cheese in your fridge.
Yes.
You can be grateful for your health, that you're alive, that you can walk. It's like gratitude for the little things.
That you're listening to a podcast right now.
Yes.
You have time and space to listen to a podcast. It's incredible. And if you just stop right now and you say, okay, I'm going to feel gratitude for 5 things in my life right now. I'm going to feel genuine appreciation. 5 things, and say them out loud. Pause the podcast right now and say them out loud. And say it to someone in the room that you're with right now. I appreciate having a friend like Nick. I appreciate the internet, the fact that the internet exists. I appreciate lights. And genuine lights all over the place. So when it's dark out, we can put our blue light blocker glasses on and we could still see. It's incredible. I appreciate that I am living in alignment. I appreciate that I can meditate every day. Those are 5 genuine appreciations. Gratitude, same thing. I'm grateful for. I appreciate. What you appreciate grows. What you appreciate appreciates.
Yes.
So let's focus on appreciation for things that you would like to bring into your life. If you are going against some force or some energy, you are appreciating that force that you're going against, and it's perpetuating it.
Mm-hmm.
So focus on the light.
Yeah. Yeah, it's responsibility over your vibration. It's responsibility over your state. Protection over your frequency from yourself. Protecting your frequency from yourself, because the reticular activating system has been told, keep me safe. If I'm not accepted, if I don't do this, if I don't hit this milestone, then I'm going to die alone in the jungle. That's what your nervous system's thinking. And so flip that. You got to flip that. Mental override, sure. But also, okay, you need awareness. Start setting alarms on your phone. Start labeling them. What am I thinking about right now? Awareness is the top level. So become aware of what is my reticular activating system focused on? What are the illusions that I'm living under that are keeping me stuck? What are the feelings I'm not giving myself and I'm looking to get from the money and the status and the power and the position? What are they? Because I have to become aware of it to be courageous and do something about it. You have to. And I think what's insidious is that people think, oh, it's the money, it's the girl. It's like, no, there's some stuff that you have not figured out that are there's a refined little thing in your mind, that a program that is unrelated to what you think it is. Some agreement you made when you were 4, some agreement you made when you were 9, that now you're living by. And now that past self is keeping you chained in the present moment because it's perpetuating itself in every fucking moment. And you got to break that.
Well, I mean, this has been so powerful for me, is when I feel a feeling that is unusual, I say to myself, where's the last time I felt that? What did I do in that situation? And how can I act differently?
That is epic.
Right? Like a real practical example for people so they can understand what I'm talking about. It's like, I was in a relationship from January to May. In April, I get this feeling over and over again in my meditations, over and over. This is not right, but I love this woman so much. I'm connected to this woman. How could these two things be there? How could I be so connected to this person and also believe it's not right? This doesn't make sense. What the fuck? God, why are you doing this to me? That's the feeling I have. April and into May. So June, July, August, September, October. 5 months later, I go on my first date since the relationship. And in the first date, at the end of the date, I have an amazing time with this woman. I hug her goodbye, and I get this feeling. I'm so connected to this woman, but it doesn't feel right. I'm so connected to this woman, and it doesn't feel right. Why doesn't this feel right? I don't get it, is my genuine feeling for the next 24 hours. What am I'm going to tell her that this isn't right? I don't want to tell her that this is what? I don't get it. I need more information. This doesn't make sense to me. I don't make this connection in the moment that this is the same feeling. But then she texts me and she says, I had a great time last night. Thank you so much. And I said, I had a great time too. Thank you so much. Because that's one part of the truth. I had a great time. Right. And then I sat with myself. And this is the day of the retreat, the night that we go to the retreat. I'm sitting with myself. And I'm like, I'm not telling her the full truth. I'm not telling her the full truth. What am I scared of? I'm scared of hurting her feelings. And I was scared in the relationship of hurting her feelings. And when this woman is attracted to me, I just want it to be right. And I don't want to tell her the truth. And so I said, after an hour of sitting with myself, I was like, I'm going to do the uncomfortable thing that I didn't do in this relationship. And I sent her a 1-minute voice note, 2-minute voice note saying, I had an amazing time with you. And also, this is uncomfortable for me to admit, but I don't see us together. And I don't see this working out. And I'm sending so much love to you and I have so much appreciation for you. And thank you so much for the great night last night. She was like, great. I'm with that. But I noticed in that moment is when it clicked of, oh, that feeling that I had before got overridden and I inserted a new program. Mm-hmm. And that feeling feels so fucking good to insert a new program to the thing that was so uncomfortable, that was keeping you stuck in that paradigm, and then acting differently and telling the truth in a way that you were scared to before. It only started because I'm sitting with myself and being like, where did I feel this before?
Mm-hmm. And that's the reconditioning. I was talking about deconditioning earlier. Yeah, deconditioning is great. And that is a version of deconditioning, deleting the lines of code, the viruses that are not serving you, going to the kernel of the trauma that happened when you were little and snipping it, and then millions of suppressed and repressed feelings and thoughts are just unconscious, deleted. But it's also writing as you live the code.
Yes.
New code, and fresh code that can negate the negative things and the negative things keeping you stuck. And what's so interesting is that our nervous systems, again, like grounding it just in the body, it has lived a very safe life compared to what it's used to. So it begins to take that hard conversation as a big deal.
Right.
Really big deal.
Right.
But you do it once and it's like, oh, we're safe. Okay, I can do that. And it's like, once you take that first hard conversation, you just get this momentum in life, that conversation, that really hard, you go run a marathon, just go do it. If I put a gun to your head right now, you'd be able to run 100 miles. You would.
Yeah.
And so taking that step of, I'm just going to go ask this girl out. I'm going to go sit on the corner. I'm going to go talk to that homeless person. I'm going to go stand in front of the mirror for 30 minutes. I'm going to go meditate on the street corner and not give a fuck about what people think about me.
Yes.
And once you do it once, your nervous system, it's super resilient. It's super good at adapting to stimulus. And it's really quick. The rate of adaptation is really quick. That's why you got Alex Honnold free soloing El Capitan. And he's sitting in an airport and everyone's freaking out and he's cool, calm as a cucumber. And the way that I do it for people is, okay, hold your breath. That's fear of death right there. Close, clear direct threat to the nervous system. And you will notice that voice of fear is always looking for a way out.
Yeah. Yeah. If I actually were to sit with myself and look at how I've dealt with breathwork in the past, it's like it would be a guided breathwork session online. I'm not going to do this, or I'm going to do this halfway. And then halfway, I'm like, oh, well, I'm uncomfortable by this. And so this uncomfort is now actually the key to my growth. But I'm just saying, I'm good. I'm going to check out of this. I don't need to do this. I don't feel safe.
I'm just going to stay safe.
I'm going to stay safe. And that is when you can recognize that and proceed anyway. That's when life gets really good, because you're overcoming over and over again your edge, and which is creating new possibilities in your life. It's so real. And this is happening in the mental. This is what's so beautiful about this partnership. I'm doing this for the mind, for people. I'm coaching them, and I'm taking them to the edge of where their mind wants to go, and the place that they're really uncomfortable by, and where I'm holding them in a space of love and care. That's what I do, coaching one-on-one. You're doing it in the mind too, but also with the body, and helping people go to the edge of where their body is going to freak out. And when you get the mind body together, the spirit comes alive.
Yes. They're not separate. They're not separate. And you could wade through the cerebral jungle solo, meditating for the rest of your life and make the progress that you're going to make. Or you can have someone help you wade through and navigate that cerebral jungle. For me personally, my path has been, it's actually easier to operate with the body. It's not as easy to deal with thoughts. It's a lot easier to deal with beliefs and bodily sensations. That thought creates tension here. That tension here creates fear. That fear is going to create more tension. It's like you have to break that governor and shift to a positive feedback loop. But it's like a map. Here's the map right here. Where's the tension in your body right now as you're listening to this? Sit with that tension without trying to change it. Let that be your guide. And you will notice that the feeling will increase as you just sit there with objective awareness, like the sun on that place, just holding that place of tension in your body, and hold it 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 minutes without trying to change it. And it will get more and more intense, and then it'll release. And you will be like, oh, I get it.
Awareness is light, and light heals. And so when you are placing your awareness on a particular part in your body, you are putting light to that body part, which is then healing that body part. Because when we are seen in a place that we think is wounded, we grow. And that is the basis of our work. I'm holding someone in love while they're telling me something about themselves that they feel like makes them unlovable. You are helping people look at their body and look at parts of their body that through breath work, they are coming to terms with. And if you focus your attention on that place, you will heal. You're living proof of it. Right? We haven't even got to your story. Maybe that'll be part 2 or episode 2 of this.
We got plenty of pods to go into all that kind of stuff. But yes. And my aim is, I think that what you're able to do, and I've seen it in person the past week. I'm following you around. People are like crying, like recognizing crazy thing, life-changing. Snip, one trauma, snip, releases millions and millions of traumatic expressions and inflictions and incisions that they've done upon themselves, and then they literally look 20 pounds lighter, and I've seen it in a conversation with you. I am also wanting to just, hey, recognize what you can do. You are a superhuman, and you don't realize it, and you don't believe it. And why are you believing in all these things that are keeping you weak? You are believing in you are giving your power away to the doctor and the prescription and the protocol and the process and the coffee, the nicotine, the person that wronged you. Reclaim it all, and you are a one unified vessel of power, mind, body, spirit melded together, and you can do anything. And your awareness fused with your attention and your intention. What do you want? Anything is possible.
Love, peace, joy. Just when lost, focus on courage. If you're in a state of fear, and then once you're at that state of courage, love, peace, joy. Just focus your attention on love, peace, and joy. and life starts to get miraculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what do you want that money for? You want to feel a state of love for yourself and your loved ones. You want to give others joy. You want to give others peace. And so, from my vantage point, let's focus on what we actually want from the things that we're getting, and then we'll get them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to put down money. It's not to put down status. It's not to put down Instagram followers. You can have it all. You can have the money. You can have the Instagram followers. But are they giving you the state of love, peace, and joy? Because if they're not, they are causing you suffering in some way.
Yes.
So,
yes. And you have an ethical and moral duty, if you're a good person with a good heart, to have the power, the position, the money, the followers, whatever.
Yeah.
Because that is something that you can rise to that. That is a life path that your greatest good is there. You got to look at where your edges are, and then you'll find the thing is too, it's like, I think people think that it's harder than it is. Like they think it's harder than it is. And there's a lot of simplicity around your awareness in and of itself is going to heal. Energy flows where attention goes, validated scientifically. So, okay, I can't feel my heart. I can't feel love. I can't feel feelings. I used to kill an animal when I was hunting. I wouldn't feel anything. And I spun up this story in my life. I don't feel feelings. I don't feel love. And all my girlfriends, I'm like, am I in love with this girl? But let me just focus right here. Hold my two superpowers of my consciousness, attention and intention, right here. Attention on my heart, intention from A to B. I want to open my heart to peace and love and joy and miracles and light in my life. That's what I want. May I be completely free from stress and suffering. Hold it right there for as long as I can. Not force, just power. It's just power. I have the power to place my attention and awareness where I want. And that is internal and external. I love the science of it because it grounds me. The meta up in the air stuff when I was growing up, I was like, what do you even mean be present? What do you mean by that? Just be present. I don't know what that is. Now it's like, oh, colors are brighter. I'm right here, right now. My nervous system's like, zoom, right here, right now. I don't know the next word I'm going to say. It's not about Nick. And this I know is when I'm operating in my highest good and operating at my highest potential. And I know that whatever this is, the next moment, it doesn't matter. I just have faith. And that's such a gift for people. And I believe that sometimes when you can ground it in the body, you can ground it in science, you can ground it in, oh, it's validated by a study. Okay. Yes, your electromagnetic potential is validated by a study, but it's also what you believe. You can account for 30 to 50% of the placebo effect with what you just believe alone. Compound that on the stuff that will really work, and you are unstoppable. Anything is possible.
The unstoppable superhuman. That's what we're trying to create. That's what we're creating within ourselves so that we can teach that and give that to others.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen it. We've seen it firsthand. We've seen what it looks like to live in that for 1 week. Life is showing us, this is your life. Your miracles are happening. People are healing. People are growing. We are finding ourselves in these situations that make no rational sense. And this is not just for us. This is for anybody who has the ears to hear it. This is for anyone who's open to the possibilities of life and realizing that it's not just what they think is possible for themselves. Life has a greater plan for you than you have for it if you just let go.
Mm-hmm.
The podcast and having the podcast be the North Star was my plan. Life had a greater plan for me. I just need to let go of the reins. So just let go of the reins a little bit. See what happens. Watch what happens. You're being held. Nobody is creating the hair that is growing from your head and making it 1 inch longer every single night.
Mm-hmm.
That is being done by a force. That same force is guiding you. And you are completely loved if you allow yourself to be in that energy field.
and you're not letting go of something that's going to help you. You're letting go of the things you're ignorant to. You're surrendering the things you're ignorant to. And this is something that happens all the time because I'm working with clients. I'm working with me back in the day. That was just fear, ruthless competitor, need to have that edge and that fear and that stuff. And it's like, let go of these XYZ things and you will step into an even more ruthless competitor.
Yes.
You are a better competitor when you let go of that bullshit.
We are competing so hard right now. In the 1 week of our partnership beginning, we are going so hard.
Mm-hmm.
We are so aligned. I'm competing more right now than I would have been if I was competing on my own or if I was competing in the podcast world.
Mm-hmm.
And look what's happening.
And it feels sustainable too.
Right.
I mean, you saw my calendar this morning.
It's wild.
And in my heart, I'm like, easy. The more mental pressure I'm under, the better I perform because I've let go of the fear that was keeping me stuck and snapping the tension. And that's what I think high performers maybe need to hear is like, let go of the fear. It is your greatest weakness, especially under high pressure situations.
Yes.
If you don't have it in control, fear is this crazy, hectic energy, bleeds into everything. Anxiety, insecurity, scarcity.
Am I enough?
You're rushing everywhere. You're rushing on your computer. You're doing a million things at once. Burnout. And it's coming from a burnout professional. And now it's like, the more I have faith and the more that I let go of the fear and just step into, I love this mask. Because I've let go of the fear, because I've let go of the outcome, I can step in the arena now. And what do I love most? I love being a ruthless, savage competitor. I love competition. And you get to do it from a place of love.
Yes.
Instead of fear.
Yes.
Which took me my whole life to figure out.
Well, I was talking to Brett Ender about this maybe, 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, and he was asking me about competition. And I said, when you're competing, you are loving the game that you're playing because you're holding it in the highest regard. You are loving the fact that you get to play this game. So you're competing the hardest as you can. And your enemy that you're competing against is actually the person bringing you to your best. So how could you not love that person?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And all of the best athletes give all the glory to God. They have the most faith, and they are doing it from this place of belief in themselves and love for themselves and trust in themselves. And you can even look at Mike Tyson back in the day. He loved knocking people out.
Yeah.
He loved being that guy. And it wasn't about Mike. And if you listen to old, recent interviews, he's like, this was ordained by God, and it was only because I stepped into it. With courage.
And the question becomes then for someone listening or watching, where in your life is life calling you to step into a deeper level of courage and love for yourself and trust in yourself? Where in your life? If you just stop and journal on that prompt alone, you will get to a new outcome, a new place, a new understanding of yourself, and a new action to take to be all you can be. Because you know deep down the truth. You know, when your head hits the pillow, I'm like, I'm not supposed to be doing drop shipping right now. I know that I have more to my life. I have more to give. I don't know what it is, and that's scary, but I know for sure. And I know when my head hits the pillow right now, it's you are perfectly on the path. You are doing the right thing. You are in alignment. You are absolutely doing the right thing. And that is such a different energy than, bro, there's so much more to you. So I want everyone to have that feeling of hitting the pillow at night and being, you're good. You did what you were supposed to do. Maybe you didn't get everything you wanted accomplished that day, but the overall mission of your life is going in the direction that is for the highest good of yourself and humanity. And so once you feel that, you can't go back. You've reached a new place of what you accept for yourself. You can't start drop shipping tomorrow. I couldn't start drinking and joining a fraternity tomorrow. It wouldn't be possible. But it is possible for me to live in love and connect deeper with God and connect deeper to my truth and believe more in myself and read the books that are good for me and host a meditation, then host another meditation, host a run club. It's like, oh, this is what actually living is like. And I really hope that somebody sees that and it's like, Danny's not that special. Danny's just a guy, because I am just a guy. And I'm also maybe a guide, if you're listening to this, of you can do that too. Because you listen to 2 hours of a fucking podcast of two guys talking about how they used to not like their lives and now they love their lives and feel miracles. And if you're listening for 2 hours, that includes you. Because there is some part of your awareness that is still listening. Because you say to yourself, these guys are kind of onto something. I don't fully get it. Maybe I do, but I'm not acting as if I am, or I fully am acting. And you're just like, you just love that we're having this energy. Regardless, the fact that you're listening shows that your awareness is pointing you to this reality for yourself. And so I have so much love and admiration for you for watching this, for listening to this, because it means you really care about your life. And we really fucking care about your life as well, for the highest good. We care about our own lives. And because we care about our lives so much, we also care about yours.
Anything is possible. It is possible. What you think is impossible is possible. And you're probably more scared of how good it could be. Most likely. That is the derivative fear underneath the surface level fears. You're afraid of your potential. You're afraid of living in the shadow of it, but you're afraid of stepping fully into it because it is terrifying. But you come at it from a place of service. You come at it from a place of wanting to do something greater than yourself. And you just ride that hot air. Spread your wings. The hot air will come up. And you're like, oh, I got this momentum. I've got it. These people are coming up in my life. These opportunities are coming up in my life. Like, I'm taking full responsibility. I've got a lot of energy. I feel healthy. I'm having good conversations. I'm getting my work done. I'm focused. I'm relaxed. It's like they compound. It all compounds. And then you're on the mission. It's like you got to answer the call to the heroic mission. And part of the heroic mission is that you don't want to fucking answer the call.
Yes.
But you have to.
Yes.
And when you do, you get rewarded.
Yes. And where you're currently looking from, it feels a lot more scary than it will feel when you're actually living it. It was a lot more scary to question yourself if you're going to quit your job or not than it feels in this moment. It was a lot more scary for me to be saying to myself, I don't know if I can quit my job, to, okay, I actually am going to take the necessary steps.
Or text that girl.
Right. Replace it.
It's not about the thing. It's about the byproduct. Yeah.
And it's not about you. Mm-hmm. It's not about your fears and insecurities and worries about what is that girl going to think? How would you act if you were just stating your truth in service of God, in service of the divine? That actual desire was placed inside of you to want to connect with this woman. And now you're blocking God's desire that he planted in you because of your fear. So it's not about you. Act courageously. It's not about you. It's about you adding to the divine picture that is, of what if that girl needed somebody to tell her that she was beautiful? What if that girl hadn't been asked out on a date in 6 months? What if that girl had a sign from herself that, oh, a guy is going to approach me today, and really needed that as a sign for something in her life? It's not about you. You're playing a picture that's way greater than yourself. And so do the thing that you're scared to do and act courageously because it is part of the divine plan.
Mm-hmm. And don't take it personally when it goes wrong.
Yes.
Try not to take anything personally.
It's not about you. It's not about you. And what's for the highest good cannot pass you by. I mean, we could go on. our studio time is almost up. Just for the listener, so much love. For you, Nick, so much love. So much appreciation for this journey that we've been on, for this journey that I've been on, for understanding myself, for connection, for new knowledge and information that sparks up. I'm in awe of the way life is continuing to work and the miracles that are continuing to just find its way into our lives. And so thank you, God, for all of it. So much appreciation.
Much love, Danny. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's listened. And I hope that this made an impact. That's where we're both coming from. Reason for being, act of service, healing, and peak performance a little bit. But thank you. This was amazing. And I know that the people that are out there that are like on that precipice, they're just about to take the leap. Like, I hope and believe and know that someone someday is going to listen to this and they're going to jump. And it is about them because they are jumping, but they're equipped with a lot of tools, a lot of awareness around what is this all about really, and what is the trajectory that I want to be on, and what if I died today? What would they say about me at my funeral? You can judge yourself on that. What's your answer to that on a day-to-day basis? And it will, through doing the right things behind closed doors, through doing the right things in front of other people and for other people, that answer is going to morph into something that you're extremely fulfilled by. So, thank you for having me on. Let's do this thing again.
Can't wait. And if you enjoyed this episode, let us know. Twitter, X, or Instagram @BasedEthos. Send him a DM. He responds to so many of his DMs. I'm not going to hold him to all of his DMs because he's getting so many of those.
It's all of them.
Yeah. He responds to all DMs. That's a wild proposition to make. I do not respond to all my DMs, but I will read all my DMs. And I have so much love for you for listening. I want to hear, if you got to this point in the episode, send me your favorite part of this episode. What resonated? What hit? Just curious to hear the feedback, hear the communication from the other side. We're here in a room talking to ourselves, but we're really talking for you too, because we could have this conversation at Casa de Luz and that would be fun. But I want to hear from people, if you're listening, if you enjoyed this, and we were in your ears for the past hour and a half, 2 hours. What'd you like? What you didn't? What do you appreciate? Send your appreciations to us. Much love to you. And we will see you for another episode with Nick coming next week. Love you all. Peace.